Yo, what's up, everybody? We're back at it again. Another slightly unqualified podcast. I'm your host today, Steven. We got Matt with me and Andrew back at it. What's up, fellas? How's your week go? How'd you guys' week? How's everything going?
It was really busy for me.
Wow, what'd you have?
A whole lot of nothing. I just
A lot
didn't
of
work.
nothing. Yeah, work.
No,
Huh?
just work.
I bet it was work.
Sounds
yeah,
busy.
Just work.
yeah, man. What about you, Matt? What'd you up to?
Well, it is now a week and a half, 2 weeks in, and my pain is still here. I'm still feeling the Eagles' loss. Every day I wake up and go to my camera to do something, and I see Jalen Hurts balling out, and no championship or trophy. Actually, this week I actually saw a picture on Twitter of Jalen, like walking through the end zone towards the tunnel when the confetti's falling, and it's like the freaking red and gold, and I'm like,
Yeah, man.
my heart. Other than that, though, it's been good, man. Been good, living life, working. Nothing too exciting outside of going to the movies, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But yeah, and nothing crazy on my end. I've been grinding ranked play in Call of Duty and
Ooh, how's that going?
killing it. Good. So the other night, like 2 nights ago, this guy just started talking on the platform, like during the match.
Yeah.
And we ended up teaming up together and went like on a 10-game win streak. So that's pretty cool.
Ooh, that's solid.
But yeah, so pretty good, pretty fun. I'm just enjoying that pretty much.
Yeah, the same here, man. I've been playing, trying to rank up some of those new guns. After that update, I'm so stretched thin with work and kids, and I'm trying to finish the battle pass in Fortnite. I just started the battle pass in COD. I'm trying to become the ultimate wizard. I'm trying to catch them all, and it's just, man, I'm spread thin when it comes to content and just video games right now, man. If another show or another movie or game drops, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
I feel like I should take a couple of days off and just be like, hey, sorry, work, I got some priorities here. You know what I mean?
There's one coming. One coming.
Yeah, there is. And then my boy just turned 8. That was pretty cool. We got to give him his first Xbox. Like he had an Xbox, but he gives us his first like brand new console.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know what I mean? We took him to the dark side or the green side and got him an Xbox. We got him FIFA. Yeah, by default. We got him FIFA 23. So we've been playing that, having some fun with that. It's cool to see him really enjoying video games. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I've had a pretty solid week.
Yeah, I've been
So,
grinding hard.
real news here is who saw Ant-Man? Raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
You did
Two
your
of us
homework.
have our hands up. The third one doesn't. Also, the guy that skipped out last week. Surprise!
Throwing you under the bus. Hey, I thought my brother in Ravenclaw was going to come through.
Nope.
And show up.
Nope.
You did me dirty,
dude. I just haven't had time.
Dude, I know, man. Me too. I bought tickets, had to cancel the tickets, got ticket money back. My kids got sick, so I had to go to the underground. You know what I mean? Go into the dark arts and watch it.
Don't incriminate yourself on camera.
I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? But I know what you're talking about.
You saw it.
Yeah, well, we saw it. I saw it. You know what I mean? I am caught up.
You guys can talk about it as much as you want. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for you because it's going to happen regardless.
So sit back, relax, and just enjoy this.
Yeah. Actually, it might be a good thing for you to ask questions, just because you're going in blind.
Yeah, that's true.
So you've seen it, Steven. Now, I mean, I gave my little review last week.
Yeah,
spoiler-free review for now, and then we'll put a spoiler tag on it after.
I think if you haven't, you didn't hear Matt's review. His small snippet is 30 seconds of what this movie was. It was dead on. It isn't the greatest movie, but it isn't the worst. I think for me, I put it up there as my number one Ant-Man, or Ant-Man 1 being number 2, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp being number 3 in my book. But it's a movie that I could definitely see myself watching a couple times. Yeah. Every time Kang was on screen, he had my attention. Like he had my attention. And his presence, you can feel it, the way he walks, the way I don't know if you guys noticed this when he was in Loki, just his mannerisms, how he moves his hands, how he walks, how he is doing something over here but looks the other way, just shows power and shows like
interesting
this prestige of like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you could him as an actor, I think embodied it, dude. Like,
yeah,
amazing. I give him all the praise. Like the fact that I don't want to be spoiler just yet, but in the fact that he plays 5 different kings in this movie, it's like you tip your hat. You know what I mean? It's like the man,
cool.
Give him his popcorn, give him your undivided attention when he's on screen. I think he deserves that in this movie.
So one of the questions that I was kind of thinking about as I was getting ready to go see it is, do you feel like, how should I word this? Do you feel like it's trying to one up Thanos, or is it like pretty fluid?
yeah. So let's throw a spoiler tag going forward, because I'm gonna try not to right now, but let's just throw it on there just because spoilers ahead for you guys are watching. Skip ahead 20-30 minutes. It's gonna be a long discussion probably. So are they trying to one up Thanos? We know they are, right? You have to have a bigger, better threat than Thanos. Is it like so in your face that it doesn't make sense for it to happen the way it's happening? No. It's graceful, it's tasteful, and it's the Thanos effect. I think what they had was you wanted to see more of Thanos because you haven't seen any of Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
The Kang effect's quite the opposite. You want to see more of Kang because you've seen 2 already amazing versions of Kang, and then spoilers, in the post-credit scene, you see 3 more amazing versions of Kang that are all vastly different. That it's like, not only do they have to deal with this Kang the Conqueror that we see in all of Ant-Man and Quantumania, but then we also have Immortus, Ramatut coming in, and probably this Scarlet Centurion just in a different color now. And it's just the opposite of Thanos. We and the thing about Thanos is we knew what he was coming for. We knew these stones were coming into play.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that everything pointed to a stone. Kang just wants to conquer like all the time. So it's like we don't know where he's gonna come. We don't know what he's gonna come for.
But
we just know he's coming, which is
what's crazy about what's crazy about that is Thanos. So like when Thanos was like, oh, Thanos is on screen, you never knew what his end goal was until he kind of like at the end explains it, right? When he's like, there's too many people, I want to kill half the world or whatever, you know what I mean? In King, he wants like 2 things. One, he wants to show that he's the ultimate king, and he wants to show all the other kings that he is the ultimate king. So it's weird. It's like he wants to take over everything, and you feel that, like you feel like, oh, he wants this, and then you see him. Oh, he has a motivation too. Like he's not just because those like John Wayne, those like 007 movies were like, we're blowing up the world, and you're just like, dog, you're on the world too. You're gonna this makes no sense. Like, why do you want to blow up the world? This dude's like, I have motivation to take over everything, and I'm gonna do it just to show these other guys that I am the one. And you're just like, oh man.
The crazy part about like the embodiment of what, and this is really a tip to the Captain Jonathan Majors, because even in the comics, Kang is Kang. There's different versions of Kang, but at the end of the day, like they're all but like a couple are after the same kind of thing. They want to be the one at the end of time that rules everything. But the encompassing thing of like what Jonathan Majors is accomplishing as Kang is insane. So we have He Who Remains, who you can clearly see with He Who Remains in Loki season 1 that his embodiment of how he acts as Kang is literally like, I'm the only person left at the end of time. I'm bored. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just sick of it. Like,
that's true. Yeah.
But then we have this Kang the Conqueror version, the Conqueror, and he is exactly that. I want to conquer this. Everything I do in this movie, I'm going to conquer it. even down to the city when he gets stuck in the quantum realm. He conquers the quantum realm just because he can. Not that he wants to, because he can. And him wanting to conquer things was the different motive and different like set of skills that he had in this film compared to like Who Remains. And the perfect example that I saw, which like embodied the entire version of King that we saw, was there's this scene where Janet is helping him rebuild his time configuration stuff.
Yeah, I thought that seems cool.
There's a
Dope.
time core, and she ends up seeing his memories and can see what this Kang is. He's a conqueror who conquers worlds, and she tells him, "You're a conqueror. You conquer worlds. Worlds die at your fingertips, pretty much." He says, "Yeah, they do. Like they die." And then she says something like, "You know, how many worlds are going to die if we free you out of this place?" And he looks at her like, "At least it's not going to be yours because I made a promise to you." So that's like two things. I'm like, okay, he's clearly like just wants to conquer worlds. The third thing, which was like, okay, this is really, this one line embodies what this version of Kang is perfectly. Janet asks her, when you get out, now what do you do? And his only answer was 2 words. And it was the coldest line in the whole movie.
Dog, it was a mic drop.
He goes, then I win. And then just boom, shit just goes crazy. So it's just, it was so encompassing of like this version of Kang. And then we get on to see more versions of Kang in the post-credit scene. And he knocks those out of the park too. It's just, crazy. Jonathan Majors had such an uphill battle to deal with this character. And if there was any one role that can showcase range across any kind of acting ability,
it's this one.
It's this role. And Jonathan Majors is taking it seriously. He's taking it seriously. He's taking it to heart. There's an interview that came out with him where they said, you know, how are you able to like embody Kang? And one of his answers was like, well, I had to really sit down and like dig deep about like, how do you deal with somebody? How does somebody talk? How does somebody walk? How does somebody act when they know everything? Like how does somebody walk with this swagger? How does somebody talk with this when he knows what's going to happen? And you saw it with He Who Remains. He had a bit of a quirkiness to him, like, I'm fine, it's going to happen. In this film, what's vastly different about this version of Kang is he didn't know what was going to happen because he's outside of time, which is why they isolated him there. So this is the Kang coming out party. We knew it was going to be, but to the extent of what it actually was, like, if you're going there just to see Kang and all of Kang's glory, this is if you're like the biggest Kang fan in the world, I could see this being like your top 3 films in MCU history just because of how good Kang is specifically. Dude,
the especially his one-liners, and this movie's full of them from him, like that can be quoted. Like the one where he goes, "I've destroyed many worlds and many Avengers." Because Scott Lang goes, "I'm an Avenger," and he goes, "I've destroyed many worlds and many Avengers," and you're just like, this dude's seen. He's probably had 4, 5, 6, 7 Endgame events. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you could see it. You could see it in his face that he's just like, "Dog, this is a Tuesday." You know what I mean? Like, this is nothing for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, the feeling when you saw Black Panther and T'Challa put his suit on, or remember when he goes, "I'm not dead," and he's standing up in that, oh my,
I did not yield.
I did not yield. And you're just like, yeah. When he tells what's her name that he goes, "Then I win," and he turns and he gets his whole armor suit on, dude. You're just like, dog, give the guy his crown. It's over. The guy in the dude.
So I have another question. So do you guys remember that movie? I think it was the one with Jet Li.
Yeah, it was.
Jet Li, wow.
Where
when he's fighting on the temple at the end, they're all in like that.
Yeah, but like the premise is like he goes to different realities, kills him former self to become stronger. Is there any of that that's kind of like in play?
No, I don't think he gets stronger.
Do you see it? Is that you're asking? Do you see him go kill people?
No. I'm not saying like if you see it, but is that part of like his character? Is he like able to like find himself, or is he like teaming up with himself, or is he like,
so
I'm gonna conquer myself? But
no, it's kind of reversed.
You're talking about.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of reversed because this king's in exile. He didn't just get stuck there. They exiled, and
But
he's like,
the other kings exile. The Council of Kings
Okay.
exiled
they
him
kick him
because
out.
he was wanting to conquer their timelines as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So they all like when he says like if you at the post credit, he says, how many of them did you call? Like how many other kings did you call? He says, I called all of them. Like I called all of them. And they're like, what? And it like zooms out and you just see this Coliseum style like
Such a good
Star
scene too,
Wars
dude.
throne, like everybody's looking
good.
down, and there's just kings of every shapes and sizes. There's like what's crazy is each one of them. You can't see all of them, but you can see most of them. All have different expressions and
Different.
they're all
I like
doing
different.
something.
Yeah.
So that means that dude as an actor had to play at least 20 other characters. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
And plus the
yeah,
one at the post credit scene, it's another version of King we see.
yeah, that was
So
dope, dude.
there is the two post credit scenes alone. There's already a lot to unpack about the future of the MCU. If there's a singularity point that's going to tie the last phase with everything else going forward, it literally is the last two post credit scenes, or the two post credit scenes, I should say. But to your question of like, can he self absorb and like when he kills himself, does he become stronger?
Mm-hmm.
In the context of Kang, the answer is both yes and no. Like he isn't physically getting stronger because he's killing somebody, but it's another
Highlander.
It's another timeline conquered. Therefore, Kang in that timeline is now supreme and has an army to behold now. But this version, and when we say the Conqueror now, like in terms of the MCU, I think they're going to label each Kang we see as something different. So like this one was Kang the Conqueror, and they made it very apparent in this film. They called him a conqueror, they called him a dictator, but the word conqueror came up a lot the whole time.
Yeah,
and they called him the Conqueror, and then even the other, like the other three, which is like Ramatut, all them, they weren't calling each other Conqueror or anything like that, and they didn't say we conquered timelines. They just said we built this up, and where is the multiverse? So I think they're gonna be very intentional with like what these kings do. And then we can get into the weeds of this, Steven, because you've seen it. This isn't the last we're gonna see of this specific version of King, I don't think. And also, it seems to be there's three kings in charge of all the kings. So the Council of Kings, which Immortus we knew was going to be one of them, just because that's the nature of Immortus as a character in the comics. Ramatut is the other one, and then the third one is who I think is the Scarlet Centurion, but there's no like comic accurate version of like this character. I just think it's the same suit as the Scarlet Centurion, just purple instead of red. Which I could see them changing for like
MCU when you like looking down at the bottom of like the pit where all the other kings are, you do see a solid red king. But I don't know if they're using
Iron Lad.
Yeah, but I think Iron Lad was fighting against King. I don't think he's technically, you know what I mean? Like
at one point, Iron Lad that isn't Iron Lad, but it could be anybody. Yeah, there's an infinite amount of them. But my point is, those three are the ones in charge, and the fourth one was the Conqueror version of him as well. And I went back to like Loki season 1, watched a little bit. I watched the last episode because, of course, you want to see more of Jonathan Majors as Kang, right? And in his like the end all be all of all, like the house at the end of all time, there's 4 statues, but one is broken. And so to me, it's indicative of the 3 kings in charge. Then the one that was exiled got broken. Similar to like how it was in Shazam when they all sat in the chairs and the 7th one's empty because that's where Black Adam's supposed to be. I think it was that kind of thing. But looking back at it now, you can definitely tell it's like an intentional thing. So that's why I'm excited, because I think we can go back in time and see these things now, and I can pinpoint like, okay, here's this version of Kang, everything like that. And then there's also a version in the post-credit scene where he's wearing a suit and tie, which is indicative of Kang Enterprises, which is QENG. You see this like Stark Tower in the Void in Loki season 1, and they've been talking about Stark Tower being bought by this mysterious multimillionaire business guy. So I can see Kang coming in there with the Kang Enterprises. They did a lot for this film to get your mind going like big time. I do think the inclusion of Rama Tut is going to lead directly into an Avengers or not Avengers, a Fantastic Four tie-in. I could see the retcon of how they're going to be all of a sudden in the MCU is apparent to me now. They fought Rama Tut back in time somehow. Rama Tut took them out of their timeline to a different timeline, and then they got back into their timeline now, which is now the MCU timeline. So they were there; they just were missing for 25 years due to time jumps or whatever. So there's a lot of play here. I'm excited. I think the freaking Council of Kings at the end was unexpected. I knew there was going to be some kind of like Kang thing, but the freaking Council of Kings and like the way they shot it was directly out of the freaking comic book pages of the Council of Kings. And I was like, this is my childhood dream, number one. Number two, how you pull this off is like how Majors, and this is all this movie is to me is a respect to Jonathan Majors and I'll give him his flowers moment because he embodied 4 different versions of Kang in one film and then embodied a myriad of others. But there's like a couple expressions here and there you see that like drive home those versions of Kang, even though it's such a small amount of time on screen. It's crazy, man. I don't know. He's it, man. If there was ever like an actor I'm more excited about in the history of like the MCU, it was one Oscar Isaac for Moon Knight, and then this one, man. This one is Kang. Majors is insane.
So, is this more of like a Kang movie or an Ant-Man movie?
Kang.
So definitely. So it's kind of like Infinity War. Well, that's Thanos' movie.
There's growth. There's growth to Scott. There's growth to mainly just Scott, honestly. There's a little bit more in depth to Janet. Hope and Hank don't really get touched. And then Scott's daughter Cassie is. Mm-hmm. I can get into the criticisms now if you'd like to, but the Scott's character development specifically was good in my opinion.
Okay, but King stole the show,
of course.
Interesting. So what didn't you? Oh, you muted.
I think you muted.
What the first thing that was getting me kind of irritated at the movie was there was a lot of the what's the Wasp's mom's name again?
Janet.
I want to call her. Yeah, Janet. She was in the movie a lot, and I was like, dude, like, when is Ant-Man getting it? Yeah, but then she had to be, and I thought there was a couple scenes in the movie I hated Murdoch.
Oh, man. You hated Murdoch?
I hated it, dude. I thought it was stupid.
Why'd you hate Murdoch?
I think it was a waste of I think it was. Dude, trust me, you're gonna watch it and you're gonna be like, I could have gone this movie without.
I think to the contrary, I think Andrew's gonna love Murdoch. I think he is spot on to what he's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think Murdoch as a character is.
Yeah, but when you see him take his mask off and you see what's his face is terrible, dude. It was.
I think I really think
Andrew's gonna love it. Trash, dude. I think it was trash.
I mean, the CGI from the trailer was pretty bad.
CGI is
bad.
Okay.
It's bad on that.
Okay. Andrew, without seeing Ant-Man, describe Murdoch from the comics. Just briefly.
It's just supposed to be a wacky thing that's designed to kill people.
Yeah, but it wasn't like
it's not supposed to be taken serious. It's
yeah, but it does a shitty or a terrible job of explaining how he's there. In my opinion, I just think it's stupid. That's what I think. I think they could have made him more villainous without making him stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
I kind of who he is.
Yeah, but it's
a face with arms and legs growing out of it.
I thought it was a poor. I don't know. I could have gone if they made that movie again and just deleted him out of it. I would have been totally fine with it too. Like he does nothing to make the movie. It does nothing to like. I could have gone without it.
Yeah, I mean, do I think they needed Murdoch? No, Kang's there.
No, not even. King was there. I do think it was a Ant-Man movie. I really do think it was an Ant-Man movie, but I do think it had I could say 50-50 maybe, but there is a lot of growth. There's a lot of turmoil between like Scott really kind of beating himself up with like thoughts of like the gap between his like not seeing his daughter, and she starts going down the path that he was going down. So in the beginning of the movie, he starts going through that like, man, I really wish I was there. I would kind of do anything to get her back.
Mhm.
But the relationship between King and him, I think it was a little like I feel like they were jumping the gun just a little bit just to get to the King parts. You know what I mean? Like they wanted to tell King's story, so they were like some of the stuff that wasn't like. I think a little bit of it was rushed. Like there's a scene in the movie where he chokes Scott out, or he's choking Scott and like doing some Darth Vader stuff, and he grabs his daughter and he's like, "All right, I'll do it," but King just goes, "All right, do it," and I'll let her go. And I don't want to get crazy spoiler, but it just like it doesn't go that way. But it's just like he's so determined to go, no, you told me you were going to say the truth. And it's like he's the bad guy. Like, you know, he was going to lie. It would just kind of was like, man, you could see that from a mile away. You know what I mean?
That plays
Like,
into Scott's character, though. Scott's an idiot.
yeah, he is an idiot, but it just was like, it just seemed like they wanted to get King out there. And I don't disagree. I think they needed to get King out there. I just think it was a little rushed. And but besides those two things, I had no other problem with the movie. I thought the movie was great.
So the MODOK thing, as someone who doesn't like MODOK, period, like comic books or anything, I thought they were spot on with him. With like, in terms of like what I think MODOK is and how annoying he is in the comic books, he literally is that in this movie. Do I think he like could have been done without him? Absolutely. He doesn't add any value to anything except for comedic relief, which I think MODOK should be doing in the first place.
Mhm.
There was a sense that I think what they could have done, to Steven's point with MODOK, is there was an opportunity for them. Andrew doesn't know that MODOK is who he is, so I don't want to like
I
spoil
have
it.
a pretty good idea of who he
Okay,
is.
so you're muted
That's
again.
why that's why I couldn't get into it too much. That's why I was trying to circle
Can you just
around
say
that.
who you think it is, so I can?
Who do you think? Who do you think it is?
I thought it was the yellow jacket guy.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
It's him.
so cool, spot on. So I thought the explanation was fine.
Yeah, I just assumed that when he got shrunk in the
Yeah.
first one, it just takes him down there, and then he's kind of reconstructed into that.
Yeah. So
pretty much, you get to see his little
perfect.
cheeks and
So-
stuff. It's pretty
So
funny.
what I'm trying to say about MODOK and like how they could have somewhat made him relevant is Cassie didn't go through a lot of growth in terms of like true conflict or true anything. And I think the monster that was in my house as a child route would have been a perfect conflict to really build her
Yeah.
character out.
That would be cool.
And they just missed out on that opportunity. They didn't do it at all.
Yeah,
So that was a missed opportunity in my boat. I'm not saying MODOK's perfect. I do think MODOK is like spot on to where I thought he was going to be, but I do think they could have fleshed out the monster under my bed thing with Cassie a lot more. They didn't, unfortunately.
and they even mention it in the back of Scott's car. She says, "Hey,"
she says it when she sees him.
Yeah, when she says it, like when they're in the car and he's like, "Sorry, you didn't have a regular world or life."
Yeah.
She goes, "There was a 6-foot yellow jacket thing in my house when I was 6. I know I have." So you could tell she has trauma because of it, and it's like, and she's doing bad stuff because she's had a kind of weird upbringing. So
Right.
when he sees her and she sees him, it's not like she's terrified. You know what I mean? She's just, you know what I mean? He's just
like,
one of the
whoa,
villains.
This guy.
Yeah, this dude.
So is it? I think his name was Darren. Is it
Yeah,
Darren?
Yeah, it's Darren.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
And like his consciousness, or like is it just his face?
No, it's
It's
his
him.
face.
It's
like
all him.
this.
Oh yeah,
Everything
that's
but
what
the
that's-
machine is him.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
So
get to see his little Naga cheeks too. It's pretty funny.
okay.
Yeah, that's
Remember they
hilarious.
take about that.
Think
Was,
about
that,
it,
was
yeah.
that was the really funny part. His feet are all
I
hanging.
thought that they were gonna like after he gets shrunk down, like it's his body, but it's not necessarily him, and it becomes a whole different entity in MODOK.
All him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Stretched
Oh,
out
yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Which
Like, they
again, I
zoomed
think
into
is
his face.
I think it's spot on to MODOK.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: they could have either done two things. They could have done the stretch face, or they could have done like a really like jelly mass face. That's kind of how it is.
Well, they did.
It's
They
like,
kind of did both. That's the
Yeah,
thing. They kind of did both.
yeah.
They put the gold mask or the mask he has.
No, I'm talking about
Fire.
like take off the mask, and it's usually like just
Yeah.
a big thing of jelly.
Just
Like imagine like
big
a
head.
huge stomach that's got a face on it.
Like Jabba the Hutt.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
No.
not that quite.
No,
It's like a human with a
visually-
giant head. That's all it is.
visually it was, I think they did a great job for what they were trying to do with Darren being him. I think they did great, because you can't put a round face, you know what I mean, and like I think they could have done a little bit better, but it was good. I just
Yeah.
don't like the development or the whole purpose of him in this movie. I just thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
You know
not
what I mean?
anything new to Marvel. Like they've had a whole bunch of the throwaway villains that you thought were going to
Yeah.
be cool. Like,
True.
And he is more of a prime throwaway villain above someone like the Mandarin, where they just like ruin him completely.
Oh yeah, they just
Uh,
waste of space.
I think for what Modoc brought to the table, I was okay with it. Could the movie have gone fine without him? Absolutely. Am I mad about him being in it? No. Do I kind of enjoy his character on the screen worse than the comic books? Yes. But to address the pacing issue of like, are they just rushing Kang into this thing? I thought the opposite. I thought the movie was like the first 45 minutes. There was so much just like jargon that didn't need to come into play. One
Yeah,
of the
there was a
things
little
being
bit.
like the entire village that Scott and Cassie found or whatever. Like, I don't need to see them at all whatsoever.
Mhm.
Yeah. It
So
looks like they had
that
some
was
like
like
extra.
15 minutes worth of time that was just wasted. Janet, Hope, and Hank, when they're like meeting up with that guy that gave him the thing that flies, that's another wasted 10 or 15,
Yeah.
20 minutes. It's just
I think
it's like they needed a way to build up Kang, like by word of mouth. That one, so it did do one thing right when it did that. One, it made me like anticipate Kang being this crazy conqueror war mogul, and he is, which is great. I don't think I needed to see that because I know who King is, but for the normal non-comic reading person that Marvel has now as the viewership, I could see them needing to understand how serious this threat is.
Right.
I just thought they could have done it by like him whooping Scott's ass a couple more times. You know what I mean? So like, but that's my 2 cents on it. I do think there's a like the way that I feel about MODOK just being there for no reason is also how I feel about Hank Pym. Like Hank Pym wasn't needed at all. They could have went in there, which is Janet, Scott, and Hope, and they would have had the same film, in my opinion.
Yeah, but with the exception of the first one, do you really need Hank Pym ever?
No, at least the second one, he brought some kind of value scientifically.
At the end of this one,
brought nothing.
He brought the ants at the end.
They didn't need Hank Pym for that.
He brought the ants. The
ants found him. It's not like he found the ants.
Mhm.
That's
At
true.
least the first film, you need Hank Pym for the suit, right? The second
Yeah.
film, you need Hank Pym for the science because he is building a freaking quantum machine with
So
hope.
far, this
Makes
is
sense.
Yeah,
This
I guess that's true.
third film, they didn't need Hank Pym whatsoever. They except for like the first 15 minutes where they're not in the quantum realm and he's explaining the tech of like how they get in there with Cassie.
Yeah.
Hank was not needed in this movie whatsoever, and borderline Hope wasn't needed in this movie whatsoever.
Yeah.
You could have gone in with again Scott and Janet, and then for Scott's development, you would probably need Cassie, but you don't need Hope. Don't need Hank.
Yeah,
don't need MODOK.
Cassie could have been in. She could have not came with him and him and like, I'm doing this to get home to see her. I'm not losing her twice or 3 times or whatever. And this movie still would have gone off perfectly.
Nah, well, I don't think Scott would. There was no stakes for Scott if that happens. Scott going home isn't the equality of Scott wanting to go home and freeing Kang as a result of that is not. They don't even out. The stakes weren't as high for Scott. That happens. So they had to make it pretty high. Hey, listen, your daughter dies or you help free me. There's no in between. And Kang was very adamant about that. But what I do think Cassie brought to the table is it made Scott. You kind of see where Scott's priorities are right now. Like Scott doesn't have much depth to him in the first 2 films, in my opinion, except for Hope. I mean, I love Hope. I'll be with Hope all day, but there's not much else beside that.
True.
In this film, they drive home like Scott has a family now with Hope and with Cassie, and the time with Cassie is precious, especially after the blip or whatever. And there's this scene specifically where Stephen, where all the Ant-Man get together to push him up.
Like
Like that's a beautiful scene of like they push him up for Cassie. All of them get aligned on the same page before Cassie, and it drives home like Scott's priorities a lot,
Mhm.
and it gives an extra layer to Scott now
Yeah.
that you didn't have before. So um, I do think the movie's overall plot is it's pretty lacking.
Yeah,
Um,
it's kind of one dimensional.
it's nothing special. It's not bad, but it's not special. I just think, well, if Kang is not in this film, and if Majors isn't playing Kang as well as he played him, this movie is a bottom tier Marvel film. But in my opinion, now with Kang in there, it's a mid to high tier Marvel film, in my opinion.
I also too enjoyed that King once he lost his tech, because his bracelet kind of thing
Yeah.
breaks. He loses. He kind of downgrades just a
Mhm.
little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and him and Scott kind of go at it, and you're like, dang, Scott's gonna hang with Kang, and then all of a sudden Kang's like
What was
the
that?
passion of like I'm about to lose
Yeah.
all of this that I want to show to these other kings. He's like, I'm not getting stopped by you, and he just starts just molly-whopping Ant-Man, and I'm talking about like
A legendary fade. I'm talking like
a dog,
when
yeah,
Thanos tosses Hulk kind of fade. Like
fade
Mhm.
like bad. He just
Yeah.
stomps his face in, and his mask just breaks. Like he's just Kane. You could just feel the relentless. I was on the couch, like, oh damn, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like it's bad. Someone needs to save this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's.
I thought Scott was dead. I'm not
I
gonna lie.
thought he was.
And
I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were.
I do think it
Thought they were
wasn't for
gonna
the
end it.
motivation of King having to go somewhere and do something. I think Scott would have died. That's how
Yeah,
if
his
King
head like
wasn't distracted with like, hey, I need to be over here real quick, like in a matter of seconds, I think Scott's dead.
easily. He
Easily.
breaks his
So-
arm. Yeah, easily.
So I got another question. So obviously it's kicking off phase 5,
Yeah.
but does it feel like it's pulling or like there's a transition from phase 4 and the rest of the cinematic universe, or is it just like boom, clean slate, we're starting phase 5, not looking back, going forward?
No, I think they grabbed the book and they just slammed it on the table and was like, "Get ready for this," and it's kicking off phase 5. I think Kang just gave everybody talking points for the next like 2
2 years.
years, dude.
Yeah.
Easily. You could right now we're kind of throwing things out, but we're missing over a lot of King's, like the fact that King built an army now. Last time he
In
got
the
exiled,
quantum realm.
he got beat solo. He goes, oh, they beat me solo. Now I got tech. Now I got an army. Now I got ships. Now I got it's on. You know what I mean? And the fact of in the post credit scene, they're all 3 kings are like the higher ups, except for one. One of them's not. I don't think he's a higher up because 2 of them don't have the scars that King has. The King the Conqueror has, but the Tut King has them, but the other two don't. I don't know if that symbolizes something or not. And one of them bows to the other one, so I don't know what that means.
Well, the guy
But
with the top hat is Immortus. He is
like
like
the King,
he is
right?
King Kang. Like the other
Okay.
Kangs are like, I don't want to mess with that Kang.
Okay, so like the fact that he had to call all of them to let
Yeah.
them know that King the Conqueror is dead, I think that all of them were on the lookout for King the Conqueror, and they're like, "Yo, if you see him, give us the call." So we all show up and we whip his ass. Where now that he got them all together, going there, he's dead. I don't think he's dead, in my opinion. I don't think he is, but they're saying he's dead. I think it's just now you're just like, is the boogeyman gone? If the boogeyman, the monsters are scared of this guy, and we don't know if he's truly dead or not, like that's where it's like, dang, this is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I think so one will I think after this we should get into like what we think is gonna happen next.
Yeah,
Because there's quite a bit there. But I think I think the phase 4 had a lot of foundational work they had to do. Similarly to how phase 1 was kind of just like standalone films that we know where these heroes are at now. Phase 4 they had to do it all over again. There wasn't a sense of like this stuff is already done. It needs to get done. So I think a lot of the things we see in Phase 4 are going to reappear in Phase 5 or Phase 6 eventually. But I think the important part was introducing these new characters so that when they get into this crazy multiversal war, we know who we're looking for and what we're looking for. There are connecting points, right? Loki season 1 obviously is going to connect to everything going forward. WandaVision was the first essence of the multiverse, so that's going to get obviously pushed forward. No Way Home was the first essence of like of a controlled version of how to control as an Avenger the multiverse. So there's different points. When we get into the celestial stuff eventually that Kane's going to get into and the cosmic things that he's going to get into, because that's what the multiverse is based off of, really. We got the Eternals. So I just think there's a lot of foundational work that's going to be coming into play eventually. The 10 rings will have some kind of bearing eventually. The 2 bracelets will as well for Miss Marvel. But this movie doesn't tie those points in quite yet. But it does tie in the fact that Kang is now on the lookout for heroes that can beat him for the first time. The Council of Kings at the end, him telling them the news that the Conqueror, the guy that we exiled, is dead, to me was more of a, we didn't kill him, but somebody else did. So now this is like the one of the top 4 guys in our council. If they can beat him, we need to make sure we don't get beat by whoever they beat them. So to me, it was more of a symbolic thing of like, hey, now we're all on the same page that there is a threat out there. So instead of fighting each other, let's actually fight the threat first and then fight each other again. And multiverse, man, I'm just excited for that part. Excited for the multiverse part. And they mentioned it specifically. You're muted again, Steven.
Yeah, they even mentioned that to talk on that a little bit. After they say he's dead and he says that we didn't kill him, they even say the people who did kill him are are able to touch the timeline.
Multiverse.
So yeah, the multiverse. So they start to freak out, like multiple people you could tell now that they're looking at the humans or they're looking at the superheroes for you know what I mean? Like they're looking at them. It's not just like they're weak, don't look at them. So you could definitely tell that they're going to be throwing in different Kangs in different situations.
Yeah. They're united. The big thing to me was like the Kangs are united. Like you thought the Conqueror was bad. There's at least 2 guys worse than him, and they are now on the same page for the first time.
So let's turn this to the last post-credit scene, because we really didn't talk about too much about that. That kind of leads into God, Becca is in the chat talking. It leads to what I think, Andrew, is going to be future of MCU going forward. I think in this year coming up, because in the last post credit scene you get to see Loki and what's his name, Mobius. You see him in like a old not Western, but like in that time and era, old theater. You see a Kang,
bowler hat, canes,
walks out kind of thing, and you see what looks like a camera, but if you read the sign, you could definitely tell it's a time machine because the things that they're talking about. And in Loki's, like, he has a look on his face like that's him, you know, and he pretty much says that. And what is it, Morbius? What is it? How do you say his name? Mobius. He looks and goes, I thought you said he was like scarier than this, and he's like, he is. You know what I mean? So I was looking forward to Loki. Now I'm like really looking forward to Loki season 2. I hope it gets here soon, because since I have Kang on my brain right now, it's like, man, I want to consume that.
I want Kang,
like,
man. I want Kang.
Dude, I do too. I think it's gonna be fire, man. What they have, because they can he can play different. All right,
could do anything.
Anyways, So Matt, we'll throw a category out there real quick. Is it movie? Is it theater quality? You streaming or are you buying this movie?
I saw it in the theaters. Now I'm probably gonna see it again sometime this week or next week.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to go next week.
I will stream it when it comes out, and I will buy the steelbook as well when it comes out. This is so I bought steelbooks for 3 things. 1, I bought all 4 steelbooks, or 3 steelbooks for Spider-Man, because that's the first collection I ever had. I buy movies, okay?
Becca.
I bought the steelbooks for the 2 major Avenger films, so Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
And this is Kang's coming out party, man. Like I
Yeah.
have to buy the steelbook for it, and I'm sure there's gonna be some crazy cool Kang
Post.
steelbook that like I'm gonna take and want to do. So
I would throw my debit card right at it if they had a Jonathan voiceover, like when he's playing Kang, like a commentary of him just breaking down what he was thinking as Kang. Oh,
Yes.
dude, I would pay for that in a heartbeat. That would be amazing, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say same thing. I'll purchase it. I would buy. I'm definitely going to stream it, and I do want to give them my money for this movie. I know that I went into the dark arts, but I definitely want to throw some money at it.
Yeah,
for sure.
To add on to the Loki thing, it's the thing. The sign says Victor Timely on it. Victor Timely is Kang's most kept secret. So all the Kangs know of Victor Timely, but they don't really talk about him ever because he's the one that founded the time traveling multiversal things. When He Who Remains in the last episode of Loki says one of us in the 31st century was able to find these parallels, it's him. It's Victor Timely. So Loki being there and already like trying to address Victor Timely showcases that there's gonna be something going on with Victor Timely and the beginning of the Kangs in the first place. So the origin of Kang now comes more into light than ever before because we're dealing right with the guy that did the very first thing to do with multiversal things in Kang. And it also symbolizes another thing for me. The second thing it symbolizes is when Loki's terrified. Like you could see in his eyes, he's like some of Tom Hiddleston's best work without even having to talk that much. The fear of God is in this dude's eyes, and he's like, "That's him." And Mobius like,
he's a god.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He doesn't look that bad. He's not that scary. To me, that encompasses what's also going to happen to Ant-Man. Ant-Man's going to see Kang and Kang Enterprise and be like, "That's hey, Avengers, this is the guy," and they're going to be like, "This is a business guy in a suit. He's nothing. We're not scared of him. He's not threatening." And then it's going to lead into like other things, right? Like the threat the threat that is presently in the moment that you know is here in front of your face, but no one's concerned about him is like, that's going to be good to me. Versus Thanos, where it's like there's this big bad thing coming that no one sees coming.
Yeah,
Kang is forefront and center, and people know about him, and he's not even scared that people know about him. So, yeah, I think it's going to be great. Future of the MCU is going to be great. I do think we're going to see more versions of Kang. I think everyone's going to be good just because how good Majors has been so far. But let's get into a theory real quick. It's my only theory I have. We'll take questions if you want to post them in the chat. My only theory I have so far, because I don't, they can go anywhere with it, but I don't think the Conqueror is dead.
Me either.
There's no way they kill off the best version of Kang. It's just not going to happen. I think he goes beyond, quote unquote, and I think Secret Wars, the Beyonder, is going to be the Conqueror version of Kang coming back as the Beyonder. Just because the Beyonder is such a big character that like you can't really just like throw him in there. He has to be an established thing. And if the Conqueror gets sucked into that little time ball thing and gets spit out beyond the flow of time, he's the Beyonder, in my opinion. And he brings the world together, and it just makes it ties it all back to the original version of Kang that we saw before. This Kang wants to take over everything. The Beyonder gets everyone together to just fight it out in the end. So yeah, I think that's where we're going. Kang Dynasty is going to be so fun. I hope what they do is they time travel in Kang Dynasty and see different versions of Kang as they go, and just
it's gonna be dope.
Fight him or something. Yeah.
What I think is gonna be cool too is if they do, and this is me geeking out, but if they like do another MCU movie or something, or and just Kang's walking in the background. You know what I'm saying? But
like
because those guys, like those dudes don't know who Kang is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can't wait.
So I think it's gonna be crazy when he starts showing up in different, you know what I mean? Like I think it's gonna be cool. I'm stoked. I think it's gonna be. I think what they did. First off, I think they need to give this dude a bonus. If this dude doesn't win something for being Kang, man,
he might win the first Oscar as a Marvel character.
Character.
Not even for this role, for like another role later on when like he's a more front role. But this might be the best acting I've seen since like DiCaprio and The Revenant. It's so good, dude.
He's Hash. What the fuck?
So much so, I had to get this commemorative thing to remember Kang in his first.
Oh my god, you bought something.
In his first, the first head Kang's ever taken. I've gotten in my hands here. So, if anybody wants to bid on that, let me know.
Yeah. If it means anything, I have some connects, and somebody connected me and picked me one up too. And look at Andrew, it's a
popcorn holder.
Yeah, it's a popcorn holder.
I knew it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Good looking out, Matt. I appreciate you. Oh yeah, man. So we wasted about 51 minutes of Ant-Man, and I didn't know it was Ant-Man and the Wasp. I just thought it was Ant-Man and the Quantum, but whatever.
It's called Ant-Man and Kang is what it's really called.
Should be. She did kick some ass. I'm not gonna lie. She did.
She showed out.
She showed out. She held him down. You know what I mean?
Multiple times.
Yeah. But besides that, Call of Duty came out. Big update. Matt's liking it. I'm liking it. I know Andrew's not a COD head, but Matt got me biting a couple years back with the CDL League. I know that CDL's making moves right now, starting to get in the esports world is getting kind of crazy. So what do you got for us, Matt, on the CDL?
Yeah, so this week we're going to try something new. I'm going to be what's called a qualified expert. I have two guys here who are not qualified, quote unquote.
Zero.
You could say they're slightly unqualified.
Just a little bit.
Wink to the camera. So what I'm bringing forth to you gentlemen today is, in my opinion, the most exciting sports league in the world. Not just esports, sports league in the world.
I like how you emphasize that sports league.
Yeah, it's only because the Eagles lost, though, of course.
Yeah.
But
wait, pause. Did you happen to see the Green King in the crowd?
The Green King?
There was a King. He was all. Yeah, maybe. He was all excited, and it looked like that other one was like, "Yo, chill out, you guys didn't win the Super Bowl. Relax."
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Anyways, back to the topic at hand.
Sorry.
So, just real quick, talking about the Call of Duty League heading into Major 3. Major 3 is the Optic Gaming, Optic Texas. They're hosting it. My favorite team. That's the only reason why I'm bringing it up, is because Optic's hosting it. Optic's made some changes. Pool play has happened, so there's rankings out right now that you guys can view real quick. I think I sent you all the links. First and foremost, any questions for me about how this works? Any questions for me about my opinion on things before I get into the weeds of what I want to talk about?
No, all I know is 100 Thieves is winning this, right? That's what we're saying?
No.
Okay. I thought you said Optic.
No. Any questions from you, Mr. Old Man Friend?
Nope.
No.
Good.
Cool. All right,
sell it.
The current standings, man, they have it's weird for me because the top 3 teams are not the top 3 teams, in my opinion, in the standings. So number 1, they have New York Subliners. Number 2, Boston Breach. Number 3, Seattle Surge. 4, Optic Texas. I think Optic Texas is exactly what it's supposed to be. 4. This is based off of pool plays and wins, stuff like that. So they get 10 points per win, everything like that. But what's interesting with this is they have Minnesota Rocker at 11. They're 0-2 right now in pool play. They finished 4th last major. They have LA Thieves at 7. I mean, the things could change, but the seeding matters. And when you have 2 of the top 4 teams in the last major in the bottom 7 out of 12, that's kind of a problem. That means the season's going to be messed up. That means that Minnesota Rockers are going to start in losers bracket, which means that one game and they're out. Or they're going to play some teams that are not very good compared to them. But it's interesting to say the least going into this major. That's the first thing. I do think Optic's going to win it just because I'm an Optic fan. Do I actually think they're going to win it? Probably not. Probably FaZe again. I could see though Boston Breach pulling out an upset. I'll explain why a little bit later. Thieves is toast. Seattle Surge, New York Subliners, It's just weird going into it. Any questions or anything to relate to?
So, I guess the question that I have is, does this kind of parity excite you? Like, is it better to see people at the top that aren't at the top normally, or are you like the consistency of, all right, Toronto Ultra is gonna be top 3 no matter what?
Good question. So, I like to see the parity when my team is not in the parity.
Right.
So seeing Boston Breach and New York Subminers and winners bracket with Optic is like sweet. I don't got to see FaZe or Thieves or Rocker until like after they get to the losers bracket.
Mm-hmm.
No one goes to the losers bracket and wins out. It just doesn't happen in Call of Duty. It's a grueling process. One team has been, or a couple teams have been close to doing it, but they're losing the finals. It just doesn't happen very often. So for me, with it being the Optic test is major, them being home, I'm cool with it. Now, normally speaking, I would be upset when I don't see teams like Minnesota Rocker where they're supposed to be, just because I want to see good Call of Duty games at the end of the day. And I don't want to see 3-0s. I don't want to see 3-1s. I want to see 2-3s consistently if I can, just for the competitive nature of the league. Now, that being said, the league is so small, like team wise, that like the player pool is so elite that honestly any team could win any day of the week if they just pull it together. So it could happen either way, what I'm trying to say. But I personally like to see the top teams fight it out.
Mm-hmm.
The top 4 teams to me are the top 4 teams until the other ones break in. And it's easy to break in when they're not where they're supposed to be seed wise.
Right.
So I'm looking at it, the Majors 3 qualifier standings. I see CDL points. I see LA with 10, Vegas 10, Toronto 10, FaZe 10, Optics 10. Is it what is separating these guys from all having the pretty much exact score, except for, I don't know what ML means. What does that mean? Major League?
That's matches won. Matches won, matches lost. And then it
okay,
says
match
won percentage. And then GW is, I think, game win. And then GL is game loss. So, actually, what is
matches
GW?
versus
game win
percentage.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
What's separating them is games won, game lost. So it's a map. It's a map. It should say maps won, maps lost. So because Optic has won 3 out of 5 maps, they're ahead of everybody else. That's not 100%.
Gotcha.
So game win percentage is definitely like what to look at after that. There is, I think, 3, maybe 4 more matches to go. So there's still a whole other week of qualifiers. But if you have 0 points right now, like Minnesota does, LAG does, you should kind of be worried right now about your seeding, because what you shouldn't assume is everyone else above you is going to lose out. In order for Minnesota to crack even the top 5 now, they have to win out, and then someone like FaZe of Toronto has to lose out, and it's probably not going to happen. So I would be concerned if I was Rocker specifically. If I was maybe Thieves, you could be concerned if they lose their next match. But that's where it is currently. So
all right, so we got. Oh,
go
for
ahead.
it, Andrew. Go for it.
I was gonna say, so the seeding. So once the qualifier's done, is it just top to bottom? You got your top team plays the bottom team all the way up?
No. So the bottom half of the bracket, and this is what I do enjoy about Call of Duty compared to like most actual sports, is the skill gap between teams during like bracket play is minimized because of this reason. So you have the top half going into the winners bracket and the bottom half going to losers bracket. So because of that, the skill gap between the teams isn't very large. It would be very unfair to see like London Royal Ravens versus Optic or FaZe in the first round because they could just stomped. So yeah, no, it's split in half and then winner bracket, losers bracket. It's a single game elimination and losers bracket, and then it's double elimination if you're in winners bracket. So if you lose winners, you go down to losers and play the next team in the next round.
Yeah, so double elim
like this,
just like
what
that.
It looks like.
Yep.
And it goes all the way through. I like that. I like how it's like just not a slaughter of the lower tier teams.
Yeah,
it's a good format. The only flaw with this format is that at the very end of the weekend, the winners finals there, that takes place as the first game on Sunday. So if you win as the higher seed because you're the winners final, if you go to grand finals to the winners final, you are now sitting for like 5 hours waiting for the last 2 elimination rounds to take place because
You're waiting
you
for
won.
it to,
You got punished for being good, and now your hands are cold. You're not touching sticks in 5 hours. That's the only flaw in the system. But
So
Yeah.
wait, can you pull that back up? Because I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
another
gotcha.
question, and you might not know the
Yeah.
answer to this, but it would be good homework if you don't. So this is why. So I look at it from like a Rocket League perspective. They used to do double elimination brackets all the time, but what I found is, or what they have found is, when you have a winners, I'm assuming that whoever loses goes down to the elimination
Yep.
bracket, right?
Mhm.
Do you know if there's a percentage of whoever loses the winners? Do they typically go on to the grand finals, or do they typically bottom out because they're playing off of a loss?
Momentum is big in COD. So
Yeah, huge.
depending on how bad you lost, if you get 3-0'd,
Mm-hmm.
if it's like FaZe and Optic and Optic get 3-0'd and go to losers, me knowing Optic, they're gonna lose losers as well, just because I know
Yeah.
how they are momentum wise. But that's not the same for every team. A lot of teams have good composure and veteran leadership that they could win out either way.
Yeah.
There is probably a very, very, very minute discrepancy. And if there is, I would say it has more to do with the losing team being cold while the winning team comes in from winners.
Yeah. So
But
Can you
that's
answer that, Matt?
yeah, you can watch on Twitch, twitch.tv/Call of Duty League. I will
Yeah,
send it to whoever wants it. Just reach out to
Yeah,
me.
put it in the chat when you get a chance to.
Yeah, I will. But to me, the coldness in losers bracket makes sense because you're in losers bracket. That's part of your punishment, in my opinion.
right.
The winner
Yeah.
shouldn't be punished for that.
No, not even close.
So yeah, so 2 big things going into the major that I think I want to bring up quickly that it's going to be a deciding factor for me and what's going to happen here. One, Toronto Ultra. Toronto Ultra was going into the last major 3 or major 2, whatever it was. They were considered like the best team. Like they looked dominant. Like they were. I was scared to even see Toronto ever in any match. I saw them in FaZe on the same level, and I don't see much people on FaZe's level. They were crazy good. They get to major 2 or 3, I forgot what number it was, and they just get smoked by Thieves. Granted, Thieves went on to go to the grand finals and everything like that. But
The Beavs
point
look
is,
good that year, though.
yeah, the thing about Thieves is they're not a good online team at all, which is what should scare them for their seeding every time there's a pool play seeding. Is they're not very good online, but when they get to land, they're really good, typically speaking.
Killing it.
So Toronto Ultra looked like the best team by far, but I'm talking like everyone thought Ultra was going to win and it wasn't going to be close, kind of a thing. They come in, they lose major. They make a change off of this loss and off of their first map loss in pool play. They bench a guy named Standy. For my Call of Duty fans that are out there, Standy is been a figure since the CDL started a couple years ago. Is he the best player in the world? He's pretty good. He's a good role player. But they benched him for a guy named Hixie. Hixie has been in what's called challenge. So they have a challengers, which is like their lower, like the
Minor league.
B tier. Yeah, minor league. Hixie comes from there. He's been on their roster for a while now. He's been their sub. They're bringing him in, man, for Standy. I think Standy needs to look in the mirror. Standy just didn't play his role well enough, is what it comes down to. But I also think that team has fundamental problems when it comes to like control, for example, which is a swing map. That's the first thing. Any comments on Toronto being the best team in the league, going from doing that to benching one of their starters?
So
No, man.
Questions.
I'm good on it.
Is there any correlation between them benching one of their starters to now not having a consistent,
like going into it, not having a consistent like chemistry or
Lineup.
sense of things?
like,
Yeah.
is that why they're down in 6, or is it?
well,
Is he not pulling his weight now that he's new, or is he just got like?
Yeah, I mean, they started off losing. They started off losing to Boston Breach. Boston Breach made a change before the pool play. Method retired. Beans came in. Beans has been really, really good. Boston Breach has looked like a different team, in my opinion. So losing to Boston Breach isn't like the end of the world. They did make a change then, which goes on to show they lost to, or they beat Las Vegas Legion. So they did get like quote unquote better. Legion isn't the best team to like hang your hat on to beat. But they did get better. They won their maps. I think Hixie, what Hixie brings to Toronto is something that Standy would never bring, which is a veteran call out leadership that I think Ultra needs. Ultra has great players. They just don't have like what's called an IGO, an in-game leader, to like really kind of showcase like when things go wrong, which is very rare for Ultra, but when they go wrong, they go wrong. They're either winning an S&D 6-0 or they're losing 6-0. It's no in between. So I think it'll be better with Hixie. Do I think he's the answer to the questions going forward for the rest of their organization? Nah, probably not. Yo, get Phase.
Phase out of here.
Phase is nice. Phase is nice.
No, you can never knock on Phase, man. They always come through.
Yeah, they just have a good roster every time.
And their colorways are dope.
That's the first change. The second change is with my team personally. So Optic Gaming has made another roster change. If you've paid attention at all to Call of Duty, it's their third.
Major one.
That's their third in. When that third one happened, that was their third in like 3 weeks. Like insane amount of changes in such a little amount of time. So one, who they dropped? They dropped a guy named Illy. Illy is a previous world champion from the second or first iteration of the CDL. He's a champion, and he's one of the reasons why they won. He's a good player overall. He's so good that like Optic hasn't let him go, even though he's not playing. Like he's just benched, and his buyout is so large from Optic that like other orgs just can't afford to buy him out, even though he's on the bench. That's how good Illy is. So they bench Illy. They bring in this guy named Ghosty. Ghosty is a challengers player. Now that sounds okay on paper, like minor league player comes up to the big leagues. However, the thing about Optic is that it doesn't happen that way. Optic isn't a team that goes to look for challengers players to compete with. Optic goes to the top 4 teams and says, hey, I want your best player. I'm going to buy him out.
Yeah.
And they buy him out. That's how Optic's always done it. So the big shock this year was like, okay, Optic's dropping Illy. Who are they picking up? Is it Pred from Seattle Surge, who was rookie of the year last year? Is it Sib, who was co-rookie of the year last year? Is it Scrappy, who's one of the best young players in the league? Did they somehow get one of these gems in the top 4, top 5 teams again? And the answer was no. We got Ghosty. And so for me as an Optic fan, I was like, who is Ghosty? Like I've never who is this? I'm sick. We dropped Illy, a world champion, for this dude named Ghosty. So to my dismay, or to my surprise, I should say, Ghosty is like one of the best players in challengers. He won MVP of the last tournament, and they were number 1 in. And then he won MVP of it's called the Elite, which is like the challengers version of the league. So good player overall. I looked at his numbers. He has crazy stats. I think this was one of those situations where Optic needs to set up for the future because Scumpy's gone now. That they're like, let's get a young guy who's not like $1 million, and let's just start building with a new guy. And I think they got Ghosty, and this week I watched them play for the first time with Ghosty, and he looks good, man. I think what is concerning for me going into the major is LAN is different, number 1, than online, especially in COD. Very different. Most games, but very much in COD. And 2, Ghosty's going to have the biggest, most loudest fan base roaring on his side for his very first LAN. Like, it's either going to scare him to death to where he's going to have so much pressure on his shoulder he's not going to be able to live up to it, or he's just going to thrive with it and just go crazy. From what I've seen, Ghosty's pretty good. He makes good decisions. I think when we look at challengers teams or players who comes into the league, sometimes they're like a little timid, a little shy about what they do. He was like, nah, this is how I play. I'm just going to play it that way. And eventually the team and I get on the same page, and it happened. They got on the same page. It looked good. I'm concerned for this roster as a whole. It's just too many changes in too little time. Is this the last change we see from them? I think the other thing too is they got 4th last major. It's not terrible. It's not very bad. And they lost to the team who would go on to be in grand finals. So you're looking to bring in a challengers player to improve on top 4 and beat teams like Thieves and FaZe and Toronto Ultra and Rocker. And you brought in a kid. Like, it's a little nervous for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
All
I'll
right,
be
so
excited to watch though.
Yeah, so give me your 3, 1, 2, and 3. Right here. Who do you got? We'll segue to the game right after this.
Yeah, I'm
What
taking
you got?
one for. I'm taking one optic. I'm taking 2, the classic matchup phase. 3, this is where I get a little mixy with 3. I think Boston Breach can upset some teams and make a good run. So to me, it's tied between Boston Breach and Thieves. Thieves is just too good on land, dude. I don't know how they do it every year. They're going to be a terrible team. Last year they won champs, and for the first half of the year they were so bad. Everyone said they said to just drop their entire roster, and they didn't, and they won the mecca of the championships. So I can never count Thieves out, especially when they have Octane and Kenny on the team. Those are just two crazy guys. But give me Optic 1 just because they're home. If Optic wasn't home, I'd be going phase right now for a repeat.
We need to try to go see them if it's going to be a home game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would love to go to LA and watch that. But all right, hard segue to the game. Let's drop it.
All right, we got spicy. Would you rather? All right, we're gonna it's gonna start in increments. I'm not just gonna throw you in. But I'll be curious to see how
kind of thing.
We'll see. We'll see. There might be some animals involved. So the way that we're gonna play is like how we've played in previous rounds. We're gonna start with Steven,
let's do this.
and then Matt's gonna give his rebuttal. Try not to pick the same ones. If you can. If not, all right, I'll let it slide. But the first one is, and this is gonna tell a lot about who we are as individuals. Ooh. Would you rather let a spider crawl across your chest or a snake slither across your chest?
Oh, why did I throw that up there? And I'm going first. I'm going to say I would rather a spider go across my chest than a snake. One reason I would say is spider, depending on what kind of spider. I'm going spider. I'm not going to go too deep into it, to the mental craziness, gymnastics, but spider.
All right.
What about you, Matt?
So the question was spider across the face or snake across the chest?
Both across the chest.
Both across the chest. Would you rather?
Am I picking the version of a snake or a spider? Like, do I get to pick what kind of species of spider?
No,
or
it's vague.
I'm taking
purpose.
Okay. I'm taking your eyes are closed and you just.
If my eyes are closed, I'm taking a spider. Spider.
Yeah, dude, I'm going spider, man. Because snake, they could just, Voldemort. Or what's the snake in Harry Potter?
Bro, snakes were designed to be evil. Okay, every version of it. There's no good version of a snake ever in any story. The basilisk from Harry Potter, Satan from the Bible. Freaking pick any snake in the world. It's always
I don't know. Spiders are pretty close on that level, though.
Jungle Book. That's the one that
hypnotizes
Mowgli. Yeah, dude,
snakes on a plane.
Snakes on a plane.
There's no spiders on the plane.
No spiders.
Yeah, but they have that movie about the giant spiders, 8-legged freaks.
Those are giant spiders. You said a normal type spider.
All right. Like I said, we're easing into it. So this next one's about. You'll see. All right. So would you rather swim in the ocean at night, knowing a shark could be nearby, or
so we're getting into the murky waters, boys?
Would you rather spend the night in a house that you believe is haunted?
Ooh.
Oh, that's easy.
Start this one off.
Easy.
Amir says one off?
Yeah.
I clear one.
Give me the shark.
The shark? Really?
Give me the shark. The thing about the shark is, okay, so one, I don't just believe every house is haunted. If I think it's haunted, I know it's haunted for the first thing, okay? The key word you said here, my friend, was could be in the ocean. A shark could be there.
I think I said might.
I'm going to might and could is the same. So I'm taking my 50-50 chance with the ocean. It's a big ocean. Hopefully the shark just ran away for the night versus the house I know is haunted.
Yeah.
So I am going to say easily haunted house. Easily. Because when I'm tired, I just go to sleep. And I have the superpower, and I shouldn't say this because I should keep it private, but even when my wife is like mad at me and she's like, let's talk, and I'm like, good night.
Lights out.
I can
Lights
sleep
out.
and it's a blessing and a curse. So if it's haunted, dog, I got to wake up early in the morning. I got work. I'm going to bed. It's not going to bother me. You know what I mean? Like, good night, and I'm going to sleep. Ocean could be a shark. Couldn't be a shark. Nah, man, I'm good.
You ever seen
So-
Scary Movie where they or not Scary Movie? What's the This Is the End?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
With
I've seen what a ghost can do. All right, I'll pass on the ghost.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'll go with Steven on this one. I would pick the haunted house. There's no real danger.
Sharknado.
Never know
Sharknado.
with that shark.
Oh,
All right,
man.
so we're gonna do a little bit of time traveling for this one. So if you could go back in time, would you rather spend more money on your wedding or spend more money on your honeymoon?
I think Steven's first.
Yep.
I don't want to answer this.
I know this one's dangerous.
Yeah. I'm gonna say honeymoon because low key, I still haven't taken a honeymoon until my wife and her 10-year will take her honeymoon. You know what I'm saying? So I would say honeymoon, a hard honeymoon. Because our wedding was good. I feel like I couldn't spend any more money if I needed to because it would have just been a waste. But I would say honeymoon and take my wife to like someplace crazy. Yeah, honeymoon.
All right, I guess
What you got?
I'm gonna cheat because mine was the same. My honeymoon was my wedding. So,
Yeah,
I was thinking about yours. I was like, dang it.
so no matter what I say here, it's going through the same thing. So shoot. The I don't know, the wedding part, I guess. I feel like the things we did in the quote unquote honeymoon part of the trip was stuff that the things that we would do or would not do with or without the same amount of money. Like if we had like $1,000 more, nothing would change on the trip part of it, the honeymoon part of it. But if I had $1,000 more, I'm getting some more plates of food. I'm probably tipping the violinist this time instead of not tipping. I'm just joking. The tip was included. I'm probably getting better service.
She was fired too.
I'm opening up I had a small 25-person like dinner party style wedding. 50 maybe 50, up to them. So I although we could have paid for one less plate, I won't say who or what, but we could have paid for one or a couple less plates. But definitely. Yeah. Give me the wedding part. I'll pay another couple thousand for the wedding part and especially because I know I've seen the packages that I could have got for the extra couple thousand, and I could roll it up there. I could roll up in Disney World in a carriage, my friend, and I didn't.
Yeah, right? We could have gone to that French restaurant over there in remember Bell's restaurant we had to put like reservations for and almost like $100.
Cinderella's Castle, man. I could have done a lot more with money.
Could have got our face painted. But... We could have had
blue animals
for sure. I know.
That's tough. What am I gonna go with on this? I think I gotta go with Matt on this just because his wedding / honeymoon was
a two-banger
put together.
Yeah,
I think if it was me, like if I was gonna do it, I'd probably put more money into the honeymoon. But you nailed it.
Yeah, good job.
All right, I think I know how this next one's gonna go because this is basically already Matt wrapped up nicely. So would you rather have to sleep 15 hours a day or only be able to sleep 2 hours a night?
All right.
So, like I have to sleep. Wait,
sleep 15 hours.
Well, I have to be in bed for 15 hours.
You have to sleep. Not even functional, just sleeping.
So if you wake up to go pee, timer stops.
And you're back to bed.
Timer restarts.
Can't do that, dude.
Or sleep only 2 hours.
You're up, man.
I'm first, right? Man, I sleep 2 hours as it is pretty much. So give me the 2 hours all day. I have a newborn, man. I've been sleeping 2 hours for the last 3 months. Give me it all day, all right? There is nothing more unproductive than sleeping. Like, come on. You literally do what do you do? Rest your body? Forget that. I can just crack a freaking cold rock star for like the rest of my life, and I might die a little early because of issues, but still I'm good.
But that's why we got expensive coffee makers. You know what I'm saying? We went above and beyond on our coffee makers because of that.
Shout out Nespresso.
I'm gonna go
Not
hard in
a
the paint
sponsor of the
too.
show.
Yeah, no, please though. If you do want to sponsor, our pockets and our wives would be really excited for that. I would have to go 2 hours too, man.
2
I, s-
hours.
I do. I can't stay in bed all day. My wife can do it. She loves it. And me, I'm like, dude, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon already, dude. Like, come on. We got, you know what I mean? No. But yeah, I'm gonna have to say 2 hours. Hard 2 hours.
You guys make me groggy. All right. So I knew that this was going to be this. So that's why I set up this second question
The
as
follow-up.
kind of a follow-up. So with that being said, would you rather have to give up coffee or give up pizza?
Blue Stevens up.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Shady comment, Esteban. I'm gonna have to say give up pizza.
Pizza.
I could give up pizza. Yeah, I can give up pizza. It as a Ninja Turtle fan, it does hurt my heart giving up saying that out loud. But my wife got me. I keep bringing up my wife, but she got me hooked on coffee, dude. And now I'm a caffeine addict. If I don't have my coffee, I'm like, I can't start my day. I feel like I'm missing a shoe. So I would have to say coffee. I have to keep my coffee. You could take pizza. Yeah.
So I need clarity on a couple things here, okay?
Okay.
When you say coffee and or pizza, does this encompass coffee flavored things or espresso based drinks that are not quote unquote coffee? Like, am I not getting pizza rolls? Can I not get a latte? Is that included in coffee? Like,
Yeah, so I would say it's all encompassing. So
no,
iced coffee,
no pizza,
cheat.
Pringles.
nothing.
No.
Just
You
pizza,
can't
everything is
bust a
gone.
Becca and try to find the back door and you'll be like, oh, well, you said.
Yeah.
You know
So this is a good one. I think I'm giving up pizza. Only because there's a monstrosity with freaking pineapples on pizza, and that needs to be nowhere near me. I'm a holy man, okay?
No.
It's a sinful pizza. Get it away from me, all right?
I love
Andrew, are you are you
I am a pineapple on pizza kind of
dog?
person.
Oh,
We
my
stand
God.
united. I love pineapple on pizza.
What even makes it Hawaiian? Oh, put a pineapple on it. It's Hawaiian.
I mean,
Tropical freaking get anywhere.
I
there's
feel
other
like
ways to put
culturally,
pineapple on pizza.
I can't hear why it's called Hawaiian.
because there's
It doesn't
pineapple.
have to be Hawaiian. It just
Because
got
there's pineapples on it. It's like anything with pineapples. Like instead of calling it pineapple upside down cake, call it Hawaiian cake.
That's a great idea. We should just change that.
Upside down Hawaiian cake.
Pineapple smoothie,
mind-blowing.
Hawaiian smoothie.
We're sitting on millions. We're sitting on millions.
Copyright.
Yeah, copyright right now. We're going to Tahiti, boys, because we just came up with Hawaiian smoothies. Oh, what's the difference?
Doesn't work very well in Hawaii though. They don't like being called Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah,
it's just pineapple. It's just pineapple pizza.
I'm not arguing with you, but it's great.
Dude, I feel like somebody was broke. They were like, "Yo, we have pizza. We don't have anything else. Let's just throw some pineapples on it." Or somebody was probably practicing the dark arts and
like
got the
somebody
munchies.
saying, "Give me a Mexican wrap instead of a burrito. Just call it a burrito." Like,
I mean, Taco Bell's got the Mexican pizza.
It's because pizza inherently isn't it makes it Mexican. There's still something that's actually besides one thing. If they just put like tomatoes on it and call it Mexican pizza, I'd be there with you. But they put a bunch of other things to make it Mexican style pizza.
Canadian bacon.
So if we put
Canadians in the word,
if we put spam
but it's just
and pineapple, if we put spam and pineapple on it, would it make it more Hawaiian?
Probably.
Sure. Yes.
Then
100%.
I'm in. I'm in.
I don't know if I can get on board with.
You put friggin' you put a fruit on it with a non-native piece of meat that's not from Hawaii or the U.S. and you call it pineapple pizza. Like,
I like it. I'm in. Sold. Take my card. I love pineapple pizza. All right.
I love pineapple pizza too.
There you go. We're on the same page.
Sorry that we're multicultural people.
I'm surprised that you guys both went with pizza. Rebecca had the right idea. There's other ways to get caffeine.
There's other ways to get food. That's the same argument.
But pizza? Man, I love pizza.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Outside of pizza being convenient, I could go without pizza.
Oh,
Now you say tacos. We got a conversation to
Yeah,
have there.
we fighting. We
I'll
fighting
keep that
on
in
that.
mind.
That's in the blood. You know what I mean?
All right. This one should be Steven's. So, would you rather have to publicly speak every day or get a visible tattoo that you absolutely hate?
Visible to him or like
It's
to
just
everybody?
Like it's like right
Everybody
here.
can see it. Yeah.
Like no regrets.
Is it
Visible?
but
no
but
regrets.
spelled wrong? Yeah, no regrets. Does it have like profanity or like a naked chick on it, or is it just something I hate?
Is that what you hate? Because yes.
Well, I don't know. Okay. No, I'd rather public speak. I have no problem with that.
Interesting.
Public speaking doesn't bother me. What about you?
I mean, so it's anything I hate tattooed on me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do not want pineapple pizza on me at all. So give me the public speaking. All right,
That
I'll
was
take public
good.
speaking all day of the week.
That was good.
Public
Yeah,
speaking.
I have no problem speaking to anybody about anything except for like
every day.
some awkward things. Every day is fine.
Yeah,
I know
I
this
probably
is
would go
good.
with public speaking too, because I
Brief
feel like
1
if
minute,
it was
brief
an
1 minute.
everyday event, maybe after like day 6, 7,
You're
it's
used
not
to it.
going to be that. Yeah, it's not going to be that bad.
That's true.
And it could be like a 30-second speech. It doesn't have to be anything crazy.
Nothing.
Yeah,
No stipulation.
that's true.
All right, this one I was looking really forward to asking Matt. You going first. Would you rather be given $1 million tomorrow, or $10 million 10 years from now?
Ooh, starting today. Like
Yeah,
today?
like tomorrow you get $10 million. 10 years from today you get 10
Jason's
million.
gonna go crazy on this one.
give me the milli tomorrow, and I'll make it 30 by 10 years from now. How about that? How about that?
Yeah.
All I need, if you give me $100,000, I can probably turn it to 5 million in 10 years.
How are you going to do that?
I'll figure it out.
Bruh.
That's for sure.
Yo, we flipping it. We buying brick. I mean, what?
Yeah,
The way
Jay-Z and that hoe,
the way inflation's going right now, I'm taking that milli. You know,
That'd get you- that's a dozen eggs.
That's a good point.
yeah, you know what I mean? Because in 10
Now
years,
might be
that's
just
gonna be
as
like
much as
50
10
bucks. You know what I mean? So you give me that milli, we putting it in. We betting. We just putting it all on black. You know what I mean? We flipping it.
All right, I got
That's
one more
what-
if we got time for it.
Yeah, we got one more. We got one more
right.
in us.
This one will be fun. So, would you rather take a vow of celibacy or a vow of silence?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Can I text?
No communication.
Dang. It's like that. Have you seen that episode of what's it called? The freaking freaky stuff that happens on Netflix.
So what you talking about?
It's gonna drive me nuts.
Wait, what?
Talking about like Twilight Zone?
No,
Celibacy?
it's like a bunch. It's like they don't go together. It's just a bunch of individual episodes. Famous actors are in them. Things happen. Like
What's it? What TV show is it?
These are all
I'm
great
trying
descriptive
to
words.
think of. Hold on, I'm
Things
trying to.
happening.
There's a
They're
specific
not
episode.
related.
There's a specific episode that I don't want to say because I don't want that episode to be the one that I'm judged off of because it's a little.
Is it a cartoon? Is it
Not
on
on the
HBO
straight
Max?
path? You know what I mean? It's not. It's like a live action.
Are you getting all red right now?
Starts with Black Mirror. Boom,
Black Mirror,
got it.
okay.
Now that I said that, Andrew, you know the episode I'm thinking of in my head. So I didn't want to describe it. Anyways, so like in Black Mirror, how like the guy's like in the world, but like no one can see him or talk to him. Like,
Mhm.
That's what we're talking about. Okay. All that to say that that's the clarity I was trying to get to. I think Steven's first. So,
You did it. You just built all that. Okay. Dang, dude, this is a hard one, bro. This is a hard one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'd rather be silent. You know what I mean? I could go. Damn, that's a hard one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go silent. I'm gonna have to go silent and still, you know what I mean?
Man knows his priorities.
Yeah, dude. Man. Yeah, I'm going silent all day. If for one, it'd probably make my spouse happier because you know what I mean? She ain't got to argue with me. She can talk all this shit. But at the same time, that would be a hard one because the world I get on Xbox and get in a party chat and can't say nothing. Can't text. I can't tell people the right behind them. I'm always going to get blamed if we lose. You know what I mean?
No way to defend yourself.
Nothing. But I still be, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm going quiet because then I can just, I don't have to answer no questions. Never my fault if we pick a terrible place to eat. You know what I mean? So I'm going. When I get that pineapple pizza, I don't know how I'm going to order it, but no one can. They can yell all day. It's not gonna bother me, right?
Yeah, they do it
And
in
then just
braille.
give them like the Moana thing. You know,
Yeah.
Hawaiian. There you go.
Like, oh, like Hawaiian pizza. Yeah, I got two. I got
Yeah,
two
I
of them
got
right
you.
here.
Beautifully.
Why didn't you say?
Yeah, just say Hawaiian.
And then the
next
guy
time.
at the register is like, "Hey, this isn't technically Hawaiian pizza, right?" And I'm just standing there. You know what I mean? Like the
Can't
dumbest look
even
on my
say
face.
thank you or nothing.
Nothing.
Cool. I'm
Yeah.
good with that. I'm not a big fan of people anyway, so you know what I'm saying. What are you saying, Andrew?
It's not my question. It's Matt.
Oh, I thought I already answered.
Yeah, I thought we were skipping me.
You know this one.
I need to send this link to your wife real quick. Let me send this real quick.
I love my wife and I love things. I pretend marriage. I have a kid, So,
Just one.
I think communication is the key to the world. It's not, I have to take celibacy, dude. I have to. I have a podcast. I'm talking right now. Communication is way more important than that. So when you say can't speak, that's one thing. Can't communicate, I can't let that go. I can't do it. I can't let it go. I can't just walk around my whole life without saying how I feel. Or not even just saying that. What if if I'm choking on a freaking hot dog and I can't say anything?
If you're choking, you're not saying anything anyways because it's blocking your air path.
No, but I'm communicating. Can't do none of that, can I?
Just
dead. And then boom, just falling, I'm dead.
Oh, man.
Dang, that sucks.
I would take the vow of silence. That's easy for me. I could be quiet for a long time.
You don't need it. Yeah, dude.
Don't need it.
I wonder what the poll would be like. I wonder how that question changes, like male versus female.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think it would go the opposite way. Girls could easily be celibate. You know what I mean? Where
they got to talk.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. Nah, I'm sticking to my decision. I'm sticking with it.
I'm sticking with Steven. Matt, I don't know
if
you're
man.
Crazy.
All right, so real quick. Bonus real quick for Andrew, because he wasn't here for this episode. This is like a question that I just love it. Okay. Really easy question. Would you rather fight a chicken every time you get into the car or fight a lion once a year?
I'd probably
no weapons.
The chicken, hands down.
Every time you get in the car, you get in the car at least twice a day to go to work and back.
Yeah, but guess what? The first time I'm up against the lion, I'm out. I'm done.
But I'm not. Hear me out. It's say the chat just said it. If I have 364 days to prepare for the 365th day, I could prepare to maybe
not well
at
enough.
Least maybe not beat a lion. But I could survive.
No, I don't think you could. I don't think you.
All right. How annoying a chicken is every time you get in the car?
Yeah, but
you just snap his neck and throw him out the window. You're done.
People just broken neck, done. Broken neck, done.
Yeah,
but you're in a car. You're not like chasing the chicken, picking it up.
It doesn't matter. Pick it up.
I've seen your little blue dino egg. You don't got much room to wiggle there, my friend.
Nope, don't have it. It's gone. The egg is hatched.
Into a chicken. I mean, fighting chickens.
Mm-hmm.
but in the chat, it's true.
It's almost 3 or 4 times a day,
bro. We say
and if you're on a 6-hour road trip and you get off multiple times for bathrooms or whatever, every time you have kids in the car now, space just gets less condensed. And I didn't say your car, I said a car. Imagine getting into a homie's car and like a chicken appeared out of nowhere. Someone's got to fight it. You got to fight it now.
You want dinner?
Yeah, dude.
Those are at this.
Yeah, those are investment chickens now. The way chicken eggs are.
It's true.
Okay.
Like you hatch and I don't break your neck in 5 different places. You know what I'm saying?
So have you seen that movie Beast with Idris Elba?
No. Oh, I've heard of it.
Oh,
it looks pretty good, but no.
So that's basically like your question. like this guy's got to go like hand to hand with a lion, and like,
Oh yeah, I did see the trailer for
The
that.
daughters and everything like that.
yeah, it's
Mm.
like I would like gore and blood doesn't affect
Let
me,
me-
but watching this man get
Hold on.
ragged all around,
Wait, let me
I
ask
was
you this
like,
He's
question
a
though.
big man.
Let me ask you a question pertaining to this movie, okay? And you've seen this movie. Does he live
Mhm.
at the end of it?
he does live.
Oh, so an unprepared Idris Elba who's stuck with the
I
most
can't tell you-
ferocious.
I can't tell you-
Who's stuck with the most ferocious lion in the history of lions can survive, but you can't beat a lion after 364 days
So-
of training. I think the flaw is in your preparedness more than anything.
Nope. So here's the thing. After his incident, he's never the same from it. So there's no coming back from the mauling that he got in 365 days. He is done the second time around.
The average female lion is 265 pounds to 408. The average male lion is 331 to 551.
And
Now you could
that
you
is-
could train
the
you
only-
could train
That is a
for
bench press
5
on a
years.
Tuesday evening for me. Okay, after a long, hard day of work, I'm benching that
Shut-
easy, clearing it.
the
Clearing it.
only reason he even walks away is he gets helped out. That's it.
But he survives multiple attacks.
No, just one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Does he have a gun? Does he have a gun?
He starts out with a gun.
Yeah.
Does a lion
Rifle.
get shot?
I don't think so.
Bro,
Lion gets
now-
trained. It gets trained. But oh man, it was like, so I watched that movie when I was flying to Honduras. It's a good movie.
Man, I
It's,
would give Matthew a shovel, like like an army shovel with the razor's edge, and 5 years of training and all the steroids he could possibly
I'd still
take
go
in,
for the lion.
and I'd still go for the lion.
Listen,
There's no-
if you gave me both hands, I'd whoop the lion's ass. All right, right now, tomorrow. Matter of fact,
I don't think you
Set it
realize
up.
how big lions are.
set it up.
No,
I
this
could
guy-
fight.
this
I could fight a
guy's
silverback
crazy.
gorilla if I wanted to right now. All right.
Okay.
And with that, we're going to be ending the
Peak physical
podcast
condition.
because there must be a carbon monoxide poisoning going on in Matthew's house because he
Chicken
thinks he can
every
beat.
day.
Yeah,
Multiple
chicken.
chickens.
I will
Easy.
take 6 chickens a day, easily. 6
10.
chickens.
It's
Then
literally
a
I've seen it.
lion.
Broken neck. Done.
Dog, I hate house cats.
Andrew,
let alone
and
fight a
both of you,
lion.
actually, you guys have 3 kids in the back seat and your wife in the front seat, and you think you're just gonna the
Yes.
chicken's not staying still. It's moving. Your kids are freaking out. It's chaos. Chaos. Imagine a road trip 10 times a day. Who
Yeah.
knows?
But if I choose the lion, I got 2 years to live. Oh, and one full year is gonna be super painful, and I'm gonna be almost paraplegic.
Bro, I've seen Lion King. I know how to take out Mufasa with ease. Ease.
Go watch Beast, and then you come talk to me.
If he walks away, my point is being supported.
He
Is all I'm
doesn't
saying.
walk away. Somebody comes and helps him, and he's all
All right.
mangled.
With all that madness being said, we're going to wrap it up here. It's been a slightly entertaining, slightly crazy podcast. We talked about Ant-Man, from how Kang's changing the next couple of years, to breaking down CDL, to Matthew potentially fighting a lion
And
And
when-
then-
times.
multiple
times.
times.
no, once
and
a
then
year.
We're hoping
I
for
don't
the
think
best.
it, by the way.
I
Anyway,
just let you know, next time we see a zoo, you better show up. Thanks everybody for joining us. We had a lot of likes and a couple subscribes, a couple people in the chat talking it up. We appreciate it. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere and everywhere you get it. We
and happy
appreciate
birthday.
you.
Happy birthday to my lovely brother-in-law out there. Not you, Steven. Jason.
What was it? He's not
I don't know who
lovely,
Jason is, but happy birthday.
Yeah,
My
happy birthday,
brother-in-law.
Jay.
My
Yeah,
brother-in-law.
yeah. He's turning 57. So
Yeah, something
happy
like
birthday, buddy. Mine's on Saturday. We're going to be going to Chuck E. Cheese and playing some video games.
There you
With
go.
that being said, God bless, stay humble. We out. Later, guys.
Peace.